àwọn ti abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára eléyìí tó ń dènà polio torí náà ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ eré gbogbo ìjọ mẹ́jọ títí lọ́lá ọ̀lànìràn ó ń lóko tèmi ó dàbọ̀.
Ìlera ọmọdé ṣe kókó ṣe pàtàkì. Kọ́mọ wa lè wà lálàáfíà ní ìjọba àpapọ̀ ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìpolongo gbígba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára fáwọn measles rubella fáwọn ọmọdé. Measles rubella vaccine wà fáwọn ọmọdé orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Tọ́jú orí wọn wà láàrin oṣù 9 sọ́dún 14. Lábala lètò gbígba abẹ́rẹ́ measles rubella vaccine wà o. Abala kìíní abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára phase 1 làwọn ìpínlẹ̀ apá àríwá ilẹ̀ wa Northern State àti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ nínú oṣù kẹwàá ọdún yìí October 2025. Abala kejì phase 2 ní àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ apá gúúsù ilẹ̀ wa Southern State yóò bẹ̀rẹ̀ nínú oṣù kìíní January 2026 yóò sì parí nínú oṣù kejì February 2026 yìí kan náà. Gbígba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára measles rubella kò léwu rárá o, safe and effective. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ilé ìwòsàn tó jẹ́ tìjọba tó wà lágbègbè yín tó súnmọ́ yín jùlọ lẹ́wọ̀n ti máa gba abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára yìí lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ìjọba àpapọ̀ ló ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀. Àjọ tó mójútó ìdàgbàsókè ìpèsè ètò ìlera National Primary Healthcare Development Agency ló mú wá fún yín NPHDA supported by the Center for Well-being and Integrated Nutrition Solutions CWIS. Òbí àti alágbàtọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí àwọn ọmọ yín gba abẹ́rẹ́ yìí kí wọ́n lè wà lálàáfíà.
The time is 6 o'clock and you're listening to Oluyole 98.5 FM.
The news.
Good evening. I am Adetoke Oluyole. Reading with me is
Afolakemi Akobi. Good evening.
Bringing you Newscope, our daily news program of in-depth reports, interviews, and commentaries. First, the highlights. Germany hails Nigeria's war against terror.
Nigeria Immigration Service plans emergency passport for diaspora Nigerians.
Governor Makinde pledges support for women in aviation.
Over 7 dead in Kentucky plane crash.
Now, the details. The government of Germany has commended Nigeria's war on terrorism, reaffirming its commitment to supporting in the area of security. German Foreign Minister Johann Madfol made this known at a meeting with Nigeria's Foreign Minister, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, in Berlin, as both nations marked 65 years of diplomatic relations. At the event, both countries renewed their commitment to deepening cooperation under the framework of the Nigeria-Germany Bi-National Commission. Mr. Wunfol said Germany praised Nigeria's ongoing efforts in combating terrorism, describing the country as a valued and reliable partner for the European Union in the fight against radical Islamist extremism. The German Foreign Minister further highlighted Nigeria's leadership in stabilizing the Lake Chad Basin and its continued cooperation with regional and international partners to counter violent extremism.
In the meantime, security experts have described as precarious Nigeria's position between the two superpowers of USA and China. They said it is thus imperative for the Nigerian government to proactively address the country's lingering security challenges. The admonition came from a security consultant, Group Captain Oladele Olasope, retired, and a security scholar, Oluwatobi Fatoki. They were discussing the alleged genocide against Christians in Nigeria and U.S. President Donald Trump's threats of military action on the BCOS TV Current Affairs Breakfast Program AM 120. Our reporter, Fidora Afolagwe, monitors the program and compiled this report.
U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened military action against Nigeria, citing alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria and the need to protect Christians in the country. The American leader's threat has sparked international controversy. China and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, condemned the move as unwarranted interference, while Nigeria debunked the claims on genocide against Christians, insisting that terrorism affects all, irrespective of faith or religious affiliation. The situation remains tense, with diplomatic engagement ongoing and global leaders weighing in on the controversy. Discussing this matter on AM 120, a security consultant, Group Captain Oladele Olasope, retired, explained that the situation transcends the matter of alleged genocide against Christians, noting that Muslims have also been killed in the north. He stressed that security should be prioritized without religious or ethnic sentiment.
The issue surpasses genocide against Christians simply because people that were killed in Borno State, they are mostly Muslims. Yobe State, they are mostly Muslims. Zamfara State, they are mostly Muslims. Look, genocide against Muslims, genocide against Christians. Okay. It is not restricted. We can't bring religion in. Okay. We cannot, you see, we cannot subsume security into politics or security into religion. Security must be treated on its own aspect.
Also featuring on the program, a security scholar, Oluwatobi Fatoki Esquire, noted that the government's primary duty is citizen security and welfare, adding that if the Nigerian government is not prepared to effectively combat insecurity, it should not complain when external forces intervene. He stressed that insecurity in Nigeria has escalated due to corruption, noting that a corrupt government cannot effectively combat insecurity. He said failure to act when necessary has also been a major contributory factor to the current situation.
Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution says security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. And when we are talking about the word primary, what primary connotes is something vital, essential purpose, major purpose. So if this is your primary purpose, security comes first. When you have welfare without security, you have nothing. When you have everything without peace, you have nothing.
The two gentlemen urged the government to adopt a more proactive approach to address the challenge of insecurity, while encouraging citizens to avoid religious sentiment. Fidora Afolagwe, BCOS News.
Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom government has suspended the village head of Ikot Umo Essien, Chief Monday Esu, in Essien Udim local government area for alleged act of terrorism. This is contained in a statement today by the Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Frank Achibong. He stated that the suspension was for a period of 6 months to facilitate a full-scale investigation into the various allegations leveled against the village head. According to him, it will be recalled that hoodlums allegedly from Ikot Umo Essien village stormed the local market in Ikot Epayong community, demolishing, vandalizing and looting the newly constructed blocks of shops. The commissioner stated that preliminary investigation allegedly identified the Esu as the prime suspect. He said that the village head had therefore been ordered to hand over all government property in his possession to the village council secretary.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja today said it would give the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, one last opportunity to defend himself against the 7-count terrorism charge the federal government entered against him. Consequently, the trial judge, Justice James Omotosho, adjourned the case till November 7 for the defendant to open his defense as he was previously ordered to do by the court. The trial judge warned that he would foreclose Mr. Kanu's rights should he fail to enter his defense on the next adjourned date. He said the decision was anchored on tenets of justice that required that the defendant should be granted sufficient opportunity to exonerate himself. The development came after the IPOB leader, who is conducting his case by himself, after he disengaged his legal team, reaffirmed his position that he had no case to answer.
The Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, has announced plans to introduce a single travel emergency passport step for Nigerians stranded abroad due to lost, stolen or expired passports, enabling them to return home safely. The announcement was contained in a statement today by the service spokesperson ACI Akinlabi. It says that the new STEP document will replace the existing Emergency Travel Certificate, ETC, and will be issued only at approved Nigerian embassies and consulates overseas. The Comptroller General of Immigration, Kemi Nandab, reviewed the initiative during the joint thematic meeting of the Khartoum, Rabat and Niamey processes co-hosted by Nigeria and France.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has pledged a renewed commitment to exploit various potentials in the aviation sector for the economic benefits and socio-economic development of Oyo State. The governor, represented by his deputy, Barrister Oluyole, who gave the assurance at an annual general meeting organized by the Women in Aviation in Nigeria, promised to support the association and empower women in the sector. Details of the events held at the Western Hall, State Secretariat Agodi Ibadan, are presented by Governor's Office correspondent Oluyole Sulaiman.
Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, is currently hosting women in the aviation industry from across the country who on Wednesday converged at the Western Hall, State Secretariat Agodi Ibadan, for their annual general meeting. Speaking at the event, the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, represented by the Deputy Governor, Barrister Oluyole, highlighted the remarkable contributions of several women in the aviation sector. He encouraged them to remain dedicated to their roles, emphasizing that the aviation industry operates on a global stage where women are equally capable of excelling just as men.
We stand ready to support them in their request. As a matter of fact, it's the Oyo State government that is bankrolling this conference for them, just to show the world that Oyo State is ready to collaborate with the International Conference of Women in Aviation. That's the summary of it all.
In her address, the founder of Women in Aviation, Nigeria chapter, Dr. Rejoice Undidinachi, explained that beyond the focus of the AGM, which was to connect, engage, and inspire members, the association planned to engage schools in Ibadan for mentorship and scholarship program in the aviation industry. The vice chairperson of the association, Ms. Sheyifumi Peace, also encouraged parents to allow their children explore, take advantage of career prospects in the aviation sector. The event had in attendance the Commissioner for Public Works and Transport, Abdulmajid Bugbojubola, Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Prince Dr. Yelade, Commissioner for Trade, Industry, Investment and Cooperative, Mr. Deniyi Adebisi, the Commissioner for Lands and Urban Development, Mr. Williams Akinfumilayo, and the Chairman of the BCOS, Mrs. Dotun Olalekan Sulaiman. This was news.
The Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly and Chairman, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, has called for stronger collaboration between government, private developers and professional bodies to reposition the real estate sector as a driver of economic growth in Oyo State. He made the call while delivering the keynote address at the second Oyo State Real Estate Conference held in Ibadan. Details are presented by the Governor's Office correspondent, Oluyole Sulaiman.
Speaking on the theme, Real Estate and Economic Development in Oyo State, Strategies for Success, the Speaker of Oyo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Adebo Ogundoyin, described the sector as a critical engine for job creation, urban renewal, and wealth generation, but noted that several structural challenges continue to hamper its full potential. He identified major problems affecting the industry, including lack of clear land titles, bureaucratic bottlenecks, inadequate infrastructure, multiple taxation, insecurity, and limited access to financing.
The Oyo State House of Assembly, through one of its motions, appealed to the executive arm of government and relevant stakeholders, especially the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, to urgently design a regulatory framework that will sensitize this sector. I think we have to work together in order to sensitize that sector. It's a collaborative effort. We can't say maybe we'll make a law to ensure that a private person that owns a house, you cannot tell him how much he wants to rent the house out for. And the agents and so on that are working to get these people, you cannot mandate that. So we all have to work together in that space to come together to ensure that we bring down the extortion of the low income or middle income earners by these agents to a various minimum.
Welcome address. The Special Advisor to the Governor on Housing and Urban Development, Honorable Akinshete Olakunle, reiterated the state government's commitment to building a smart, sustainable, and investor-friendly real estate sector that drives economic growth and urban transformation across the state.
In Oyo State, under the visionary leadership of our able Governor, His Excellency Governor Sheikh Makinde FNSC, we are witnessing a bold transformation that positions the real estate sector as a key pillar of our economic diversification agenda. Over the past few years, our administration has made deliberate effort to strengthen institutional frameworks, reform land administration, and improve access to service land for both public and private development.
The Special Advisor emphasized that while significant progress has been achieved, government recognizes the need for a more strategic, inclusive, and sustainable approach to real estate growth. Oluyole Sulaiman, Business News.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has expressed disappointment The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has expressed disappointment that the suspension of its 2-week warning strike has not yielded the desired results as the federal government has failed to meet its demands. The union gave the warning today in a statement signed by the University of Jos branch chairman, Professor Jubel Morwu. He appealed to President Bola Tinubu to prioritize the education sector and ensure that all pending issues between the government and university unions are resolved amicably. The UniJos chairman lamented that the government had made no significant progress in addressing the union's demands despite the suspension of the strike. Recall that ASU had in October declared a total and comprehensive warning strike starting from Monday, October 13, which was called off after an emergency meeting between government officials and union leaders, as announced by ASU President Professor Chris Piuna.
Meanwhile, dozens of University of Jos dental students have taken to the streets to protest the non-accreditation of their courses, which has resulted in them spending over 10 years in the school without graduating. The students today blocked the university gate at this permanent site, singing solidarity songs and carrying placards with different inscriptions. The president of the Jos University Dental Students Association, Mr. Johnson Titus, who spoke on behalf of the students, demanded that the management address their plight and provide a solution to their predicament. The student leader blamed the university for their plight, adding that the university does not inform students that there is no accreditation for the affected program. A source close to the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Tanko Ishaya, who spoke anonymously, said that the university management was doing everything possible to address the matter.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has issued a public alert over the circulation of illicit drugs being sold as medicinal cannabis. The agency said credible intelligence led to the arrest of a 28-year-old suspect in Lagos. A statement released today by the agency's spokesman, Femi Babafemi, said the suspect was allegedly packaging and distributing synthetic and high-potency cannabis strains in designer pouches and cups labeled as medicinal cannabis. He said 16.4 kilograms of substances, including strains identified as Colorado, Arizona, Canadian Loud and Ghana Loud, were recovered from the location, warning that the seized products marketed as medicinal cannabis were instead dangerous and highly potent psychoactive substances. Meanwhile, the NDLEA chairman and chief executive officer, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, said the cannabis remains prohibited in Nigeria.
And on the foreign scene, at least 7 people were killed Tuesday evening when a cargo plane crashed shortly after takeoff from Mohammed Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky. Foreign Desk editor Folashade Akintola compiled details and others as presented by Bimbo Akombi.
The aircraft exploded moments after departing the runway around 5:15 p.m. local time, that is about 22.15 GMT, sending a massive fireball and thick black smoke into the sky visible for miles. Governor Bashir said the plane's 3 crew members were likely among the dead, while officials warned that the death toll could rise. At least 11 others were injured in the crash, which struck a nearby auto business and sparked a blaze that engulfed multiple buildings. 2 employees of the auto business hit by the plane remain unaccounted for, and investigators are still determining how many customers were inside when the crash occurred. Louisville Metro Police Chief Paul Humphrey said emergency teams were working through the night to secure the area, describing it as an ongoing active scene for the next several days. Democrat Zoran Mamdani, 34, has been elected as New York City's first Muslim mayor, defeating independent Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa in a closely watched 3-way race. The victory marks a generational and political shift in the nation's largest city, as Democrats also celebrated projected wins in the Virginia and New Jersey governor races. Mamdani, a progressive state assemblyman from Queens, victory speech before a jubilant crowd late Tuesday night. In this moment of political darkness, New York will be the light, he declared, directly addressing President Donald Trump, who had warned that federal funding for the city could be at risk if Mamdani prevailed. Donald Trump had earlier threatened to cut off funding should Mamdani win. Posted on social media shortly after the results came in, Mamdani's election represents not only a cultural milestone, becoming the first Muslim and the youngest mayor in over a century, but also a decisive moment for New York's political direction. His platform centered on housing, affordability, police accountability, and expanded access to public transit. And finally, the United States has killed 2 people in another strike on a vessel in the Pacific. United States Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said, bringing to at least 67 the number of people killed in U.S. attacks on boats in the Caribbean and Pacific since early September. In a post on social media late on Tuesday, Hegseth alleged that the latest vessel attack was involved in illicit narcotics smuggling, though legal experts have said that such attacks amount to extrajudicial killings, even if those targeted are suspected of drug trafficking. Describing the vessel as transiting along a known narco-trafficking route and carrying narcotics, Hegseth said United States forces attacked it in international waters in the Eastern Pacific on the borders of U.S. President Donald Trump said. Hegseth did not provide any evidence of drug trafficking, while a short aerial video of the attack showed what appeared to be a vessel stationary in the water before being hit by a missile and exploding in smoke and flames. Bimbo Akombi, BCUS News.
This edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. Germany has praised Nigeria's ongoing efforts in combating terrorism, describing the country as a valued and reliable partner for the European Union in the fight against violent extremism.
The Nigeria Immigration Service, NIS, has announced plans to introduce a single travel emergency passport designed to help Nigerians abroad whose passports are expired, lost or stolen to return home securely and verifiably.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has pledged a renewed commitment to explore various potentials in the aviation sector for the economic benefits and socio-economic developments of the Oyo State.
And on the foreign scene, at least 7 people were killed Tuesday evening when a cargo plane crashed shortly after takeoff from Muhammad Ali International Airport in Louisville, Kentucky.
That's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Mary Adidapo and delivered by
Adituke Oluyole.
Afolakemi Akombi. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to tune in for the Yoruba edition at 8 o'clock tonight.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state. This is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
ọdún ni bàbá kérésì BCOS mọ́ wáyé tìlù tìfọ́n láti fi máa ń fi káàbọ̀ sínú ọgbà iléeṣẹ́ wa lóríta Basọ̀run nílùú Ìbàdàn. Kété tí bàbá kérésì bá ti kúrò nílẹ̀ Róòmù, gbàgede iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS ní ògùn wá sí. Torí ẹ̀ la fi ń sọ fún iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá olókòwò kékèké, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ tajà àwọn ọmọdé, ẹ̀yin kátàkárà, tàbẹ́yìn tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ta ohun tẹ́nu ń jẹ, gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ mọ́ lu àkókò òpin ọdún pàtẹ láti ta onírúurú ọjà tiyín láti ṣayẹyẹ òpin ọdún fáwọn ọmọdé àtàgbàlagbà, ẹlẹ́gbẹ́jẹgbẹ́, ilé ìjọsìn, ẹ̀yin ọlọ́jà tẹ́ fẹ́ ta ohun gbogbo tẹ́nu ń jẹ, ẹ máa bọ̀ nínú ọgbà iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS lóríta Basọ̀run nílùú Ìbàdàn láti bá wa dòwò pọ̀ pẹ̀lú owó péréte. Ẹ sì lè pe alága ìgbìmọ̀ bàbá kérésì ilé akéde lóríta Basọ̀run fọ́dún 2025 àjọpọ̀ bí ẹni yin Olódùmarè hallelujah sórí 08116200150 08116200150. Bàbá kérésì ilé akéde oríta Basọ̀run ti ń palẹ̀mọ́ láti gúnlẹ̀ sọ́gbà iléeṣẹ́ wa BCOS. Bó o ṣe gbọ́ máa sọ fẹ́lòmíì pé ó ti ń palẹ̀mọ́ kò ní pẹ́ dé.
The city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state. This is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
wọ̀kùwọ̀kù lọ́rọ̀ ọ̀rùn pẹ̀sẹ̀ láti kéde nílé akéde tọ̀yọ́ ni ó nílò kó ọ̀sẹ̀ mọ́ dára rẹ̀ láàmú sọpọ̀ òun wọkọ̀ bọ̀ wá sílé akéde lóríta Basọ̀run nílùú Ìbàdàn mọ́ pàápàá jùlọ láti ṣe ìkéde yẹn polówó ọjà yẹn tàbí fi tótọ́ tó sì yẹ tó àwọn aráàlú létí bóyá nípa àpàdé nípa àsọjí àbí nǹkan kan àbómi ìtẹ́balẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣe ẹ torí agbègbè àgbáyé kẹ́ ẹ̀ náà tẹ́ fẹ́ ṣe hàn wá 091587033